Hello, and welcome back to Frostpunk, the Arks. In our last episode, we started making some automatons. I always stumble over the word the first time. We started making some automatons and have actually started filling out our city a little bit. We have currently 4 automatons working in our city, as well as our 45 engineers. And we are doing a little bit of scouting here to the south. Our second scouting team is headed to the south, while the first team is finishing up in the east. And then we'll head back to town, drop off the myriad of wood and, steel and coal we have here. And then we'll probably send them out here to the north toward the Misty Valley next. So let's go ahead and unpause the game and probably speed it up a little bit while we wait. And we're also anxiously waiting for more wood and more steel so that we can make some more automatons to continue equipping our city with some additional labor, I guess. We also last time built a fighting arena and a public house, both of which are geared toward the boosting of the morale, or at least the decrement of the discontent in our city. We just finished the cooldown of the public house law, I believe, and I want to go ahead and take moonshine. This allows a meal to include moonshine, so that eating soup causes less discontent, and every meal, regardless of whether it's soup or not, causes less discontent. So the intent here is to use the moonshine and... yeah, I guess just the moonshine. The intent here is to use the moonshine to counteract the soup law a little bit. So let's go ahead and do that, and that will be that'll be good for them. And then we'll let the cooldown, and then I think the next law we sign will be the care house, but that I'll actually wait because I don't want to do dueling. I don't want to do house of pleasure. So the next one will be care house, and that will be and then we'll take prosthetics if we need to as well. But we probably won't have anyone die, so we won't worry about this one, and we won't need triage for a similar reason. We shouldn't have that many ill people. I mean, we have two sick people right now, but like this is gravely ill or injured or anything like that people. So let's hope that we get some of this finished up here, and we can bring some people in. Resource depot finished. Let's see, we're gonna have to move on here a little bit toward the what's it called, the next tier here, the drafting machines, the tier 2, but I think that was just the resource depot upgrade. I think, let's see, we did generator power. Did we do bunkhouses? Yes, we did. And coal thumpers. Let's do coal thumpers next. Yep, we'll do that next. And then we'll work on the drafting machines. That way we can take the large resource depot, which we will need eventually in this one just for simplicity's sake. And it's going to be back down to -40 tomorrow. I think, given what we have coming in the next shipment here, or when these guys return to the base, that I think we can probably build some steam hubs. The Automaton project, a huge success. Sir, the Automaton project is complete. Automatons can now be produced at lower cost and used in medical facilities. We learned to modify the automatons with precision attachments, allowing them to work on the most fragile thing we know of, the human body. It also turns out we can remove some non-essential parts. Well done. Automatons can now be used at medical facilities, and the cost of automatons falls by 5%. So the cool thing is once again we get a research completed that we haven't even made it into that tier yet, which is kind of similar to a new home, when you can take the researches. You get the researches from those last few explorations that we did. And you get like 3 or something final technologies. Let's see. I do want to, let's stage out those steam hubs. And so this is why I built in front of all of the or not all of them yet, but all of the arcs. We want to put in steam hubs here, here, and here. Perfect. Scouts have reached the South Pass. Steep rock faces protect us from the wind, but we fear a rock slide could happen at any moment. New prospects. Traversing the narrow pass while avoiding the falling rocks and small avalanches was perilous, but we managed to get through. The observations made from the pass reveal several sites in the area worth exploring. Cracked ice and lone boulder, and we get a nice supply of wood. So we'll continue on to Lone Boulder. And so when we build these steam hubs, we're going to actually disable them right away, so we don't use the coal in them, but they'll be available then for us once the time is right, once it's necessary. Speed up time again. Scouts have reached the snow crawler. Okay, that's our eastern scout here. One of the snow crawlers that was lost in the journey north. Disassembling it will provide us with resources. Defeated by the weather. This snow crawler was separated from our expedition by the blizzard and ran out of fuel. Our people are still inside, frozen solid. We'll give them a proper burial. The crawler was built before the Great Winter. Nobody predicted how bad the weather would get. It didn't stand a chance. All we can do now is dismantle it for resources. So we will get 3 steam cores out of this, which is really, really nice. And then we're going to shoot all the way back to the city to drop off that coal and steel, which will be very useful very, very soon, because steel is our tough resource to keep. Plus I just spent 80 on the steam hubs that we haven't quite built yet, but close enough. Coal thumper researched. And then I think it is time for drafting machines to be unlocked. We did all those. I'm not going to ever do this. This one I will do eventually. Probably fairly soon. I don't think I'm going to do automation scouts. And I'm not going to do the generator range. So I think we can't do. Can we do this then? Yeah, let's go ahead. And then we just unlocked, of course, the coal thumper, which we're going to wait a little bit to build, I think, because we don't really need them yet. We don't even have our second coal mine built yet. So, these haven't even finished building yet. I need to turn them off, by the way. But the Automaton came here and refueled itself at this steam hub, which is kind of, that's not what I wanted either. Kind of interesting / amusing. Let's turn these all off, even the ones that haven't been built yet. I should have done that immediately upon building them, but I didn't. Okay, so let's fast forward time again. And continue on. So you can see the discontent is dropping, and that is because of the alcohol, the moonshine. And it's actually kind of plummeting. Drink up, guys. Because they all ate here overnight during their off time, and so they all reduced discontent times 45 people. Well, at least 35 people, since 10 of them are on scouts right now. Scout duties right now. Okay, and it just got colder. So we need to either turn on the heaters, which will cost us 1 coal each. By the way, I paused. Or we can turn on the steam hub. If I can click on it. Well, that's not what I wanted. But I think I actually have to go here to see what the costs. Steam hubs cost 3 coal. So we can kind of quickly do some math here. This steam hub's going to affect these 3 buildings, and I don't think it'll affect this one. This one's only going to affect 1 building, so we're going to turn the heater on instead. We'll turn the heater on in the public house. This one's going to affect 3 buildings, so we'll turn it on, but I think I'll turn this off. And then this one is going to affect 2 buildings, so we're going to turn the heaters on there instead. At least in theory. I may change my mind once the heat heats up here a little bit. If I turn this on, we definitely wouldn't need that. Do we need this? I kind of, well, actually, is this automaton? What I'm uncertain of with the hothouses is, do they need to have warmth in them to grow the plants, or do they just need to have the warmth in them for livability? I think just livability. So I'm going to use the heaters, not the steam hub, because this makes 2 coal, this makes 3 coal. And I think that makes some logical sense, although I want that one turned down, which means it's costing me more, but that's okay. And this one is not in the range or not affected well enough, so I think we're going to go there with it. We should probably build the bunkhouses, but I think I will wait until maybe I don't want to stay at -40 too long, so we'll probably build the bunkhouses pretty soon. Scouts have reached the Lone Boulder, a distinct spot in Frostland. We can use it as a waypoint for further exploration. New landmark. Our search hasn't uncovered anything of value, but we may be able to reach some more promising locations from here. Sites discovered, supply trailer, and research outpost. Okay, we'll go to the research outpost first. So what I was saying was, with the bunkhouses, we could probably do them now. We don't have anybody to work on them, so we'd have to work on them tonight. And I'm just not... I don't know that we really need them unless we start getting more sick people. So let's pick up the speed here. Sawmill researched. Wait, sawmill upgrade? I did that one? Oops. Oh, I did do that one, right, because it only costs 10 steel. Now let's do the drafting machines. My bad. Okay. Right, food is full. That's fine. Be fine. We still only have 2 sick people, so I'm okay with the houses the way they are. But if it gets to the point tonight where it's very cold, then I may change my mind. We're actually getting pretty full on the wood supplies, but as soon as our scouts get back here in 10 hours, we'll have all kinds of steel, and we'll be able to make a bunch more, and the steam cores, and we'll be able to make about 3 or 4 more, probably 3 more automatons, because I want the 4th steam core to be for the additional coal mine. Drafting machines researched. So let's go ahead in here, and I think the next thing should be the large depot. I think, because we're kind of getting there, and I have one already reserved for coal, and we're gonna build the large resource depot for coal, and then reassign this one to something else. Probably raw food, or food rations. My bad. Okay, so tonight we'll see if the cold affects the sick people or not, given that they're only in the chilly zone and not in the livable zone. And the next law is available, and I think we're going to pause here until we need a care house. No sense in building it until we need it. So no more laws until we need a care house. If and when we need a care house. Let's go ahead and zip through the night. Actually, we aren't going to zip through the night because these guys just got someplace. Scouts have reached the research outpost. This research outpost was deserted a long time ago. It's quite old, but there might still be some useful equipment inside. Gone home. The people who worked here were explorers. They paved the way north for the rest of us. They must have left in a hurry, perhaps to reunite with their families before the great winter took hold. Take resources, more coal and more steam cores. Excellent. Let's go back to the Lone Boulder. I think I should have checked this time. 24 hours, 8 hours. I think that's the better choice. We'll learn here in 8 hours, I guess. And then we have these guys almost back home. And the scouts have returned to the city safely. Alright, so these guys I want to start working out in this direction. But we can go to the industrial ruins first because we don't need to get to the Misty Valley first. Now that we finished that quest by going here first, we're okay with going to this other site first. No rush to get to there. I think that's right, or 20 hours, or 8, and then 12 maybe. Let's go here actually first. We'll use it as a waypoint. Okay, so now we have plenty of steel, plenty of wood, and plenty of steam cores. So tomorrow, we'll make 3 automatons. I'm going to go ahead and make one of these for wood and one of these for steel. Because they're going to be there anyway, so they might as well get started. Just at the 5 a.m. Clock reset. And it gets warmer. And we still only have two sick people, so I think that's okay. Let's turn this off. Off. Leave that one on. That one can turn off. Off. That goes off. That's good. That's good. Okay, I think that's all good now. We have workers in those. Those need to stay where they're at. Ah, we have a scout waiting for us. Continue here, 19 hours. So that was 8, and this was only 24. That was actually a shorter trip to not come back. Oops. Oh well, we learned. Although I'll forget by the next time I play, so it won't be a... Because it's probably going to be a while before I play these again. But I like to come back to them. This is such a good game that it's good to come back to. Maybe I'll play on a harder difficulty. Who knows? A new automaton has been built. So I want to pull these guys out of here. No. Maybe. No, let's pull the engineers out of here and put them in here. And then we'll put the automaton out here with the heater off. Who do I have? Okay. I never put these guys on, or this thing on overtime work. But that's okay. And I think that's good. And then tonight we will build a coal mine here with this last bit of road here. And then we will research next possibly this one. This one will have to come pretty soon. We might need to do that one, although it's probably not as necessary. We'll do these 3 eventually. Generator efficiency is always good. Lighter scout sleds might be the best one to do, though. Because that speeds up our scouts and make them move 50% faster. And as soon as we have 75 steel and 150 wood, we can do that upgrade. Scouts are waiting at the abandoned supplies. We'll go here next, and I don't remember what the time was, so I don't have to admonish myself for that. You guys get done with that automaton. There they are. Okay. A letter of thanks. Sir, an engineer is here to see you. He has a letter to you from his team. My workers asked me to deliver this. They're plain people, so it reads like bad poetry, but here's the gist of it. They want to thank you, sir. The sight of this automaton working tirelessly in the inhuman cold, where previously they toiled and suffered, is something worth living for. The only comment I have on this is, I've seen this one when I have had an automaton in a new home, and this makes sense because there are sort of uneducated workers available in addition to the engineers. With everyone here being engineers, this kind of doesn't make sense. The being plain people, bad poetry thing, like these are engineers. I don't know that it makes sense as much here, but okay. And I'm glad to hear that, and hope will rise slightly. Alright, so that automaton now can come actually and build this coal mine, which is great. And then it'll actually start working on it, or working at it, I should say. And then you're going to need some more steel before you can make another one, but that's fine. We'll get there soon. And we just had a problem. A serious accident. Sir, there's been an accident. An automaton has stepped on a man, crushing his leg and crippling him for life. People argued that the automaton should work more slowly and carefully, even at the cost of their efficiency. So we can choose to slow down the automatons, which will raise hope, but the automatons will drop by 10% efficiency. Or we can say that we can't afford it, and that we want discontent to rise, and that automatons will remain a threat to crush more people. We could do that we can't afford it and let them go at it, because we could start making prosthetics later and just fitting the people with the prosthetics. But I don't think we need to do that, so I'm going to take the slow down the automatons option. Now we do now have a crippled person, or an amputee rather, who's going to take up space in a medical post until we build a care house. At least as far as I understand, the amputee can live in the care house. So let's go ahead and build a care house, and I'm going to put it in right... doesn't really matter, I guess. We'll do it right here. So we'll go ahead and get that built, at least tonight, if not before. Surprised me I've been asked to reduce the overtime yet. Alright, so let's see. These installations can all come later, as can this installation. We could optimize the coal, which means that we'll produce 10% more coal, or we could optimize the generator, which will mean the generator burn 10% less coal. I did the math in my head on this one in the new home series. So the generator burns 90% of its coal, or the coal mines produce 110% of their current coal. That, I think, results in more coal per hour net, if I remember correctly. So let's go ahead and do that one first. We're going to do them both probably back to back, so it's not going to matter much. Oh, and that's the one that got stepped on. Interesting. Okay, then we probably should assign someone there eventually. Someone's building that. Scouts have reached the industrial ruins. This building was destroyed by a powerful avalanche. Its interiors are filled with snow, but we should still be able to retrieve some resources. Buried alive. We discover a bounty of resources as we dig through the snow. Sadly, that's not all we find. An avalanche killed everyone who worked here. Their corpses have been frozen solid. The relatively light clothes and the insignia of Her Majesty's Prospector Corps suggest they were explorers sent north to look for suitable places for generators during the onset of the Great Winter. Maybe it's for the best that they weren't there to witness the fall of the Empire. So we're going to take the resources and proceed to Misty Valley. It's 11 hours versus 4 plus something there. I think we're going to take the 11. And we want to assign our automaton to this, and that's satisfied that quest. The city is now autonomous. Excellent work. The seedling arcs are now being safely maintained by the automatons. All critical operations are secured, and we still have time to spare before the storm hits. If we are to have a shot at surviving, we have to gather as many supplies as we can. Hope rises. So now our next quest is build 5 houses. That's not bunk houses. That's houses. Build or disband all expeditions. Gather 8,000 coal. And gather 500 food rations in the next 16 days. Do we have? Yes, we do. We're going to build this here. And that'll get built tonight as well as that care house getting built. I'm going to reassign one of these workers into here, because we do need that person working. And discontent just went up because I assigned someone to an overtime workplace. Let's get stuff built. Care house promise fulfilled. So now Thomas is the one who was maimed or amputee. He's an amputee, and so now he's going to live in the care house. And the care house is plenty warm enough. Excellent. Okay, fast forward time, and scouts have reached the supply trailer. Plenty of various equipment lies scattered around the trailer, probably taken out in an attempt to free it after the ice has collapsed under it. Priceless machinery. This gear must have belonged to prospectors or explorers who came here before us. Some of it was witnessed and crushed by the moving... some of it was twisted and crushed by the moving ice, but we found many usable things. Take the resources, and we are going to continue this way. This is 7 hours. That's 21 hours. This is probably more than 14, so I'm just going to go straight there. But we're going to come back here. There might be more over here, if memory serves, in the last attempt, and then we'll go through this mountainside cave that's from the beginning that we haven't done yet, and then head back into town eventually. So in A New Home, I couldn't remember how much these things stored versus these. These store 1,350 coal. These store 5,400 coal. So that's what? Quadruple? So it's probably worth it, although to be fair, the amount of space they take up, I don't know that it's worth it. The regular resource depots take up 6 squares. This is taking up, well, I guess that's the same. Hard to measure it exactly, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, I think it's 24 squares. So it's 4 times the space, 4 times the storage. But it's a little easier to manage, I guess. Either way, it's fine. It's at least easier to manage because I don't have to have a bunch of little things storing coal. And now I have a little bit of extra storage for everything. At least a little bit of extra storage, that is. So, that's great. And let's go to super speed. It hit 5 o'clock and I didn't notice. And here's the cold back again. We'll do the same thing. That one goes on. This one goes on. This one goes on. This one goes on there. And this goes on. And I think that goes on. Let's wait till 8 o'clock. Or no, actually, that already all works. So, actually, no, that doesn't need it. That does. This is good. We need to replace those workers. Scouts have reached the Misty Valley. The air here is still. The trail ahead disappears in a milky haze. Even in the middle of day, it feels like twilight. Safe passage. A narrow path we were investigating led onto a large, flat landscape. The snowy plains we have discovered seem promising. We've already observed a dozen places worth exploring. As I discovered, Snow Dune. We'll proceed out to the Snow Dune. And that, by the way, would have been 12 hours, and that one was 6, so we definitely saved time going straight there. So now it's going to be time to build our houses. Our bunk houses, that is. I'm going to go ahead. No, not yet. Let's pull these guys out of here, I think. And go ahead and have them start building some bunk houses. And so they'll do that instead of mining, but that's okay. Coal mining optimization research. So let's do, we talked about the generator efficiency. And then possibly improved heaters, or probably improved heaters would be a good next option. So I just made everybody homeless, but we have 8 workers going to work on rectifying that today. It's good to do during the day because it doesn't affect sickness. But then you gotta spend the time on your workers. So we have a stuck automaton. An automaton has entangled itself hopelessly in its assigned building. We can't free it without at least partially dismantling one or the other, and that means shutting down either the automaton or the building. So we can shut down the automaton, which means it won't be able to work for 12 hours. Or we can shut down the steelworks, which means it won't be able to work for 12 hours. I think I'm going to shut down the steelworks. And then put the automaton to work here in the sawmill until such time as that steelworks comes back online. Yeah. Houses are getting built. Generator efficiency upgrade researched. Possibly the improved heaters. Maybe the steam steelworks would be better. I think it would be better. Let's do that. And then we'll do the heaters next. Scouts have reached the snow dune. A distinct spot in Frostland. Okay, yeah, it's a waypoint. New landmark. Our search hasn't uncovered anything of value, but we may be able to reach some more promising locations from here. Sites discovered, stone ship, and steam lorry. We'll go to the stone ship first, maybe. And then we're going to have another scout being ready here in a moment. Now everyone's off work, so they'll help finish up the houses quickly, hopefully. A figure in the distance. Sir, we've noticed something in the distance. A small black dot in the white desert, moving slowly toward us. It's possible it might be a survivor. Let's wait and see. And then our scouts are there. Scouts have reached the cracked ice. A distinct spot in Frostland, we can use it as a waypoint, yes. Repeating that, but snowbound dreadnought and isolated shelter. Okay, we'll go to the dreadnought first. The reason I'm going to the dreadnought first is the storm. This is closer to the storm, therefore I want to go there first. Because eventually we will lose contact with the stuff that's to the south. So we don't want our scouts to die. We need to deal with it. Okay, come on, finish building houses, please, people. That would be nice. Thank you. And I think I will toss these workers in here, although how much hours do you have left? It doesn't say, and there's no, yeah, that means I'm going to forget. Great. Okay, we'll toss the workers in there. In the morning, they can help cook up some of the raw food that's been accumulating. And we have reached the stone ship. And this is a waypoint as well. So we have the ruined warehouse and the snow-covered supplies to scout. We'll just go ahead and go there first. Somewhat arbitrarily. Actually, I think it's done already. So let's pop the automaton out of there, toss him back in there. Put just the 4 workers back. We'll get that food caught up, and then I can transfer them all over. And our law is available. So we could now sign the prosthetics law, which allows us to fit amputees with prostheses to be able to work again. And we are going to do that. And then what I want to do is make one. Because these only cost 10 steel, whereas these cost a lot more steel. So we're going to do this as soon as daybreak comes and they can get back to work. Well, 6 a.m. comes. And that means that that worker that was stepped on can... did it make already? I think it did. No?
Work time. Get back to work.
I'll check in a minute. Scouts have reached the snowbound dreadnought. An old abandoned dreadnought that's completely covered in snow. It's been here for a long time. Cold steel and steam cores. This land dreadnought wasn't designed for this kind of weather. Presumably it was part of one of the prospecting expeditions before the Great Winter. We found some priceless resources here. And continue on to the isolated shelter, which is definitely going to be a shorter trip than that one. Why did it not make the prosthetic? Can I not make them yet? Go here. Maybe I can't make them yet. And that's just to streamline them. Oh, it did. Okay. It just took it a minute to flip over. Let's put him back to work then. He is now no longer living in the care house because he has a prosthetic, which is pretty nice. So we'll get this done. We'll do the improved heaters. And then I want to build the steam steelworks. And I think we'll just do one of them at a time. Maybe this one first, since I don't think this one started actually working yet. But I think we're going to leave this here and pick it up in the next episode. So we've made a little bit of progress today, a lot more exploration done, a little bit of building, some upgrades to the bunkhouses, and of course the starting on the steam steelworks. And the man has leg crushed, and then we've already made him a prosthetic. So that's pretty good progress for today. Thank you all for joining me, and I will see you next time. Bye for now.